Hey guys, let's talk about the freedom of overcoming lust. Overcoming the compulsion to watch porn, to release your energy to that, overcoming the belief systems that lust is important and how that feeds into us as men needing to be a certain way. So when you free yourself from watching porn and from buying into the whole trap of lust, really, you free yourself to be more of yourself. And this society and this world has us believe that lusting is normal, that needing to be a certain way as a man, like needing to be masculine, needing to be seen as strong, all these sort of things through the egoic lens are important. Like you need to look a certain way, you need to sound a certain way, you need to know game, you need to know all these things. But when you let go of porn and watching that stuff, that's kind of like the first step. Your brain gets adjusted, your body starts, going through a rehabilitation really of your nervous system. You start consolidating your energy, and then your whole outlook on lust and how it plays out in your life starts to change. For example, for me, when I let go of watching porn and let go of releasing my energy to that, I always had a voice that was deep within that said, this is not a productive thing for you anymore. And once I let go of that and I could see in my life how much energy I was investing into that whole, female attraction thing, thinking that's important, thinking that, that you need to be a certain way for someone, these are all limitations. And I let go of all that, or most of it, to where I feel such a state of freedom within myself. And you realize it's just about being yourself. But the thing with lust is that it brings you away from yourself energetically, right? Because you're chasing something. And then when you release or you get it or whatever it is, then you feel the low of that and then you feel empty. And for me, that cycle, I'd gone through that enough to go, you know what? I want to be free from it. And then when I embarked on that journey, the true freedom came when I realized just being myself, just being in the present moment was it. It wasn't so I could go and attract more people or, use it to make more money. And I mean, sure, you can use it for that, I'm sure, but I'm talking here to, I reckon, pretty evolved souls that are at a place in their life that they understand that they want to let go of watching porn and things like that because they know that it's not healthy for them, but also at the same time, your innate experience and your actual worldly experience of feeling more at peace and being connected with others and being connected with yourself is far greater than any superficial material benefit. Not that that's a bad thing, because that can materialize and manifest as well. But when your intention to let go of porn is just to feel at peace and enjoy more of the present moment, I mean, that is the greatest success of all time, because everything comes from that. Everything you do, whether it's your job, whether it's your business, whether it's your relationships, and that's a huge, probably the greatest benefit is that it's so great that it can't even be, I think giving it the label as being a benefit is even that's even short, doesn't even encapsulate the true benefit of what you feel, the transformation that occurs. And so the true freedom there, guys, is the freedom to be yourself, the freedom to go about your life and flow through it, being yourself, knowing yourself, having the energy to respond to things that you feel are for you, having discernment with not just women, but with people in general. And that brings me on to the next point. It actually helps you shift closer into the vibration of love in yourself, because you're not judging people as good or bad. You're not judging that the whole lustful dynamic as good or bad, but you can still see it, And I think that's where I'm a little bit different. I think other YouTubers talk about this as lust is this bad thing, but it's not. It's just energy that we can redirect more into ourselves and feeling that wholeness and completeness of who we are, that then manifests in your life. But I mean, that's the greatest benefit and the greatest freedom. And from that place of freedom and from that place of deep acceptance of yourself, you also have a deep acceptance for other people. And, you know, like, for example, if you let go of watching porn and stuff like that, and you think you've transcended this, but then you judge other people when they have a certain sexual orientation, or they wear their sexuality more on their sleeve, and they're more in that energy. It's also the freedom to not judge that as well. So not judging that as a bad thing, because everything is meant to be as it is. So true transcendence is really that acceptance without judgment. And that's what I've learned from my own experience of letting go of corn, conserving my energy, consolidating in myself, enjoying more of the present moment naturally, that comes with that. And you also realize it's not really freedom from lust, it's just freedom to be yourself, but you see how part of yourself was being dragged down by those lower level habits, you know, corn, chasing girls, chasing women, and thinking that's important, performing, because that's what it all is, guys. At the end of the day, it's performing, you know, like you're performing to have something or to attract something or to get something, right? But when you conserve your energy, you realize how you're whole and complete. You don't need to chase anything. You only feel inspired to go after things that you feel inspired to do. You know, it's not a chasing energy. It's not an energy of lack. And so that's been a huge benefit and realization. Another benefit and realization and the freedom of this is, again, just more energy within yourself. You can feel like you have a reserve now to tap into, you know, so instead of releasing your energy watching corn and things like that, you have more of an energy that's ready to go for yourself, you know, in day-to-day life and where you want to channel it. And I think that's a very individual journey, you know, like this whole journey is, but it's very individual in terms of the alchemical process. So when you let go of corn, then you keep your energy within, that alchemical process is very individual. And the ways in which you want to channel that energy will become aware to you at the moment that it's meant to, you know, if you are meant to, you know, maybe you're just meant to consolidate that, you know, like for me right now, I feel, you know, I love making these videos from time to time, but I really feel called more than anything just to keep consolidating my energy, retaining my energy, and enjoying the depth of the present moment more and more, you know. And yeah, guys, I do offer coaching as well. If you guys would like to, you know, want to chat about your own individual journey with overcoming lust, and, you know, whether it's letting go of corn or just, you know, learning how to be with the energy and deal with the energy as an alchemical process, I'm happy to do that. I do one-on-one consults. Just send me an email. My website is on my YouTube bio. But it truly is an individual journey, you know, and the greatest thing about it is that when you're consolidated in yourself and you have your energy within yourself, that journey of peace and exploration naturally unfolds, you know, and it's very unique to you. And that's what I enjoy about this, you know, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's talk about this. I think men will really enjoy this, and women too, you know. It's not about, it's not a gender thing. Even actually, I just saw on YouTube a video of a woman, a young girl, talking about, you know, her experience with lust and how she saw it as, you know, it's just another addiction that can develop and it's short-sighted, and, you know, that's great, you know. That was pretty cool. I watched a little bit of that. I liked that. Especially for a woman who is, I think she was like in her early 20s, mid-20s maybe, if that. So people, you know, are evolving to the point where they're seeing through this addictive nature of ourselves. And it's not that it's a bad thing, it's just that you realize it's limited, you know, and if you follow that addictive, those habits, and you put emphasis into it, and energy behind it to the point where you let it dictate your behaviors, then it brings you away from yourself, and it can really change your life. Probably not for the best. But then again, everything's paradoxical. If that's what you're meant to do, then that's what you're meant to do. Because I was in that, for a little bit, When I was younger, I definitely had the habit, growing up in the digital age, watching corn from time to time. And I wouldn't say I was an addict, but it was still there, that habit of, just doing that from time to time. And I think that's the trap, is we think it's just a normal thing. But then you let go of it and you feel the freedom of who you are in not only interactions with people, but just you being alone in your own self and content. That's when you realize that, yeah, okay, let's let go of this. And then you let go of it, and then you realize how it's hard, Well, it was for me, But then you have to have acceptance of yourself on this journey. You have to accept yourself where you're at. And sure, you go for a certain amount of days without watching it and releasing your energy, and then you relapse or whatever, and then you accept that, and then you go back, try again. And that's all we can do at the end of the day, is we just try our best. But at the same time, if you're aware of this compulsion within yourself and you're watching a video like mine, man, you're probably going to transcend it 100%. Yeah. And you realize, the transcendence is not about how many days of retention you're on or how many days you haven't watched corn or anything like that. That's just a byproduct of your awareness of this, in seeing how limited it is. And that awareness over time, that translates into your habits where you're not doing that anymore. And so there's that natural evolution of your life and integration of your new life in the present moment. But then again, the ego can take that too, and think, okay, I'm going to use this now to build a better future, but I wouldn't, that most likely will happen 100%. We're all on this ascension journey and we're always evolving. But the thing is don't let your mind attach it to a goal either, I love the intention of just experiencing more peace within yourself and freedom of being yourself, because that's where everything comes to you anyway, and that's where everything is happens as it's meant to be, in that freedom of you being you. Because that's the true freedom of overcoming lust. It's not about overcoming it so that you can get something in the future. It's actually being free from needing or wanting it, and feeling amazing, good, peaceful, content, whole, at home within yourself in this present moment right now. And that's all that matters, and that also helps you drop the seriousness of it all. It's a paradox, if you believe and you have this weight and restriction and seriousness, I gotta overcome this. Just let it go, come back to the present moment, relax, and just realize that you being yourself in every moment, and you just being you in every moment, is as it's meant to be. And with that true acceptance of yourself without judgment, you also accept others, and that's a freedom beyond words, really. And I'll also add another thing is, I don't usually have notes, guys, so I just like to go off my head and talk about it on the spot. But when you transcend lust too, you also transcend more and more of the conditioning about how you look as being important, all the superficial things, money, success, and how all that ties into one's construct of the ego and who they think they are. I'm not saying you can't have material wealth and be successful and all that, but what I'm saying is that when you overcome lust and you are more in tune just with your presence of who you are in the present moment, your ego is no longer tied into that. And that's a freedom beyond words also, because you now open yourself up to a reality that people love you for you and see you for you. And it's dropping the beliefs that you need to be that to have what you think you want, people think that, you know, people actually think and believe, I need to have the money, I need to look a certain way, I need to be a certain way to have this woman or have this person. But man, it's so backwards, you know, it really is. Because you know how many people who look like fitness models are together but are miserable? Because in their mind, they've achieved it, but this journey takes you beyond the mind. This journey takes you beyond that egoic sense of self that's an illusion. You have to see through that and align with your soul. That's what it's all about. Soul alignment, guys. You know, soul alignment. Aligning with the true essence of who you are, you know. I get a bit passionate about this because, you know, when I had my, I guess you could call, spiritual experiences and spiritual journey, I was very blessed to have experiences with women who were much older than me. And at their age and their experience, they could see through the material aspect, you know, of men. They could see through how that's not important. They could see through why that when you identify with money and success and your looks and all that, it's not what they want. An evolved woman, that's not what they want. An evolved person, it's not what they want. Because they realize it's within them, that's not fulfilling either, you know. And again, that's another freedom and benefit of overcoming lust and buying into the whole game of attraction and all that. You know, that's all fine when you're in the matrix, when you're in the pre-awakening stage of your life where you believe that those things are important in order to have what you think you want, right? But then you have experiences or you watch a video like this and then it awakens that dormant knowledge there that's already there at the perfect timing in your soul's journey to know that the true you is already everything you could possibly ever want. And that's what this journey takes you beyond. It takes you beyond the superficial illusion into the true you that is already perfect in every moment. So relax into that. I hope that makes sense, guys. I went a little bit off on a tangent there, but how can you not on such a cool topic, you know? I think it's cool because not only do you see the physical benefits physically within yourself and how it's reflected in your life, it brings you closer to the truth within yourself. And yeah, just wanted to share that. So I'll see you guys in another video. Hope you have an awesome day and take care.